What I'm going to talk about in this video has legitimately been the biggest game changer for me in terms of motivation and discipline for all areas of life, whether it be at the gym, training at the track for motocross, or even working on my business, and even the simple stuff such as being able to get up when the freaking alarm goes off. So definitely watch this one. If you don't know me, I'm Logan Lesser, a national motocross racer, having won over 15 state championships and an amateur national championship. I'm an extreme sports athlete and ran a marketing agency for over 4 years, growing it to $30,000 a month. And while doing so, was able to travel the world living in Cape Town, South Africa, part-time throughout the past few years. And I've spent nearly $50,000 on mentors, coaches, courses, and education, learning from the best of the best in business, fitness, mindset, racing, and so on. Now I'm sharing what I've learned and growing my community, the Champion Protocol, linked in the description below. By the way, if you're a motocross racer and you want to check out my online community or any of my digital products, such as my fitness program and things like that, link to those is in the description below, so feel free to check that out. But with that being said, what I'm going to be talking about in this video is how to find and master and embrace your dark side and use it to your advantage so that you can have basically endless motivation and discipline. Now, where I originally heard about the concept of the dark side was from the book Relentless, which was written by Tim Grover, and he was literally the behind the scenes trainer for some of the top athletes in history, such as Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, and many others. But to name a few, I mean, those are pretty legit people. But regardless, so the dude knows what he's talking about. And one of the parts of the book that really, really caught my attention was the dark side. And the way that I interpreted it was that the dark side is what you selfishly or ridiculously want more than anything else, no matter what it is, and it's what drives you the most at your core. Like at your core, your dark side is that like fire that's burning within that literally when you tap into it, you just have this endless power and everything. And you almost, when you tap into your dark side, you have this type of controlled anger. And what it talked about in the book as well is being in the zone. And like that feeling of being in the zone, being in your flow, which I talk about this in a lot of videos. It's my favorite feeling in the world, which the times where I feel the most in the zone is when I'm riding and racing, and basically like when I'm like fully in the zone, that's when I really feel it, and that's when I love it the most. So I've definitely gotten into the zone and stuff like when I'm working on my business or in the gym or whatever else, but when I felt it the most was definitely riding and racing. If you're a motocrosser, you could probably relate to that. But regardless, he talked about the zone, and something interesting he talked about regarding when you're in the zone is that there's one emotion that is kind of in existence, I guess you could say. I was going to say in control, but when you're in the zone, you're actually in control. It's not your emotions that are in control, which that's actually a really important point. But the only emotion that is basically there when you are in the zone is anger, except it's a very, very controlled anger. If you can think back to when you were in the zone last and stuff, or just like a moment where you were in the zone, you can probably think back and remember, yeah, actually, I remember I was like just in that really deep focus state, and I almost had like this fire burning within me, and I was kind of angry, but it was very controlled and everything. So hopefully that makes sense and you might be able to relate to what I'm talking about. But when it comes to your dark side and everything, if you can really figure out what it is that you want more than anything else right now, what drives you more than anything, and you can then use it and embrace it, because sometimes people might feel almost something he talked about in the book is which I'm kind of like paraphrasing here because he didn't say it in this exact way, I don't think, but sometimes you can almost feel a little awkward about what your dark side is, or you can almost feel a little embarrassed by what your dark side is and everything. Because to be honest, I mean, it might be fame, like you want to be famous, or it might be a girl, or like the girl you're seeing, or a girlfriend, or the girl that you want to eventually be with, or it might be money, it might be whatever. It might even be that you really want to go buy that sports car. Like you want to be able to afford that sports car or anything else. I don't know. Whatever your dark side is, what is really important is that you embrace it. You don't shy away from it. Like whatever it might be, it doesn't matter. Like you don't need to tell anybody what it is. Like it's what you want selfishly. I say selfishly, like that's how I explain it, because it might be selfish. Like what you want might be selfish, and it might not be for somebody else. Like your main driver might not be like, oh, well, I want to be able to go, like, for example, in business, it's like, oh, well, I want to build an amazing business so that I can make all this money, so I can give back to the community, and so that I can help the homeless and all this stuff. Like, it might not honestly be that. Like, that's probably not your dark side. Your dark side is probably like, I want to go make a ton of money so that I can go drive the most badass sports cars, get with the hottest women, and so on. Like, that might be your dark side. And I'm telling you right now, there's nothing wrong with that. And you don't need to tell anybody, and it can be something that is just for you. But what's important is not to shy away from it, but to embrace it. And something else that's important to keep in mind is that your dark side will change. Like, I know for me, it's changed over time pretty significantly. But whenever it changes, what's important is to figure out what it is and what your dark side is currently in the moment presently, and then be able to use it. And a perfect example of being able to use it is like for getting up in the morning. What I ended up doing when I learned about this whole dark side thing is that when I figured out what mine was and what it is that I kind of wanted more than anything, I actually used, I'm like such a nerd, I used ChatGPT. And if you don't know, I think you have to I pay for like the premium version of ChatGPT, and I think it's like $20 a month or something. But if you use ChatGPT 4, then it allows you to create images. And literally you like insert a prompt and you're like, make an image of an Audi R8 flying through space. You know, it'll literally freaking make it. And you can tell it to make like a 4K, very ultra realistic or photorealistic image or whatever. That's what I did. And I basically had it create a photorealistic image that represented what it was that I want and what my dark side was. And I printed it out, and I used that to be able to get my ass out of bed in the morning when the alarm went off. Because basically what I was doing is, which I'm currently technically still in this season and stage, which is like focused on building my business and all this stuff. So like I'm getting up every morning at 6 o'clock and all that. But basically, I was in the middle of like a grind mode of like working my ass off, and I was really struggling to get up when the alarm went off. But as soon as I did that, I basically printed it out. I set it literally right here on my desk, which is across like or it's like far from my bed and everything. So, and I would put my phone right next to it, which my phone would be my alarm. And when I'd get up, I would have to come and turn my alarm off, but I would see that image like as the first thing that I saw before I could turn my alarm off. And basically when I saw it, the thought that came to mind was, if I go back to bed right now and I hit snooze, I am delaying this or making it so that this never happens, and so that I never get this, or so that I never achieve this, or whatever it may be. So that was the thought. And then basically I used that to get myself up early in the morning and get straight to work and get to it. And then not only that, but I was able to use that same thing and that like vision and stuff to be able to get myself moving. And whenever I started to feel kind of down, or whenever I started to kind of lose motivation or didn't really feel like working or whatever, I would basically look at that, or even just like visualize it and everything in my mind and make it all realistic and visualize different scenarios of me like experiencing that and all those sorts of things. And when I would do that, it would basically remind me of what it is that I'm working for. And once again, if I was to maybe share some of my dark side or some of my versions of my dark side, like people would probably, they might not understand, or they might call me a selfish dick or something like that, you know? But that's the point of your dark side, is for it to be personal to you and for it to be whatever it is that you truly want at your core. And you don't need to share it with anybody. Like, just have it be your thing. And the most important thing that I'm referring to in this video is just to embrace it and to be able to use it to your advantage. And like in the gym, what I would do, a perfect example of like in the gym and training and stuff, is literally, I'm going to use a perfect example here. Say, I've been doing this lately too. I've been working my legs a lot lately because my mom gave me the worst genes for calves. Like, I don't want to make excuses, but like genuinely, it's actually true. Like, I got my mom's calves and they are non-existent. So I'm having to work my ass off in order to build these damn things. Whereas my dad, he's got really big calves. So yeah, that kind of sucks for me. But I just have to work harder to get them. But anyway, working legs is hard. And one of the exercises that really kicks my ass is barbell back squats. So when I'm doing those and I'm like pumping out the reps and I've got like the heaviest weight on that I can do and I'm pushing for those last few reps, I kid you not, for for those last couple reps where I barely feel like I've got anything left to give and I'm like dying, I literally start to visualize my dark side and what that thing is that I want, or that I'm working towards, or that I'm working for, or why I'm doing this. Like, I start to visualize that, and I kid you not, it almost gives me this extra power, and like it ignites that like fire within and gets me in the zone and really gets me that controlled anger that I need in order to push those last few reps. Like, it seriously works, but you just got to figure out what it is and then be able to figure out the best way for you to tap into it. For me, it's visually. Like, in the morning, it's being able to see that image first thing in the morning, so that I have an immediate reminder of, if you go back to bed, that's what you're giving up, and that's unacceptable for me. Like, I can't give that up. And then in the gym, it's like visualizing it in my mind. I have a really strong imagination, so I'm able to visualize it pretty freaking like to where it's pretty real in my head, and that really, really helps me a lot. And then I can do that other times as well, you know? So yeah. But anyway, like, just kind of figure out how you can implement it and everything. And let's see, was there anything else? Yeah, like, honestly, that's everything I wanted to touch on. But literally, just understand your dark side will change over time. It's really just figuring out what it currently is in the present moment. And then once you know what it is, don't be ashamed of it. Like, don't shy away from it. Use it. Like, use it to your advantage. It's a freaking superpower. Okay, it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's working on a business, trying to be the best motocross racer, skier, snowboarder, mountain biker, basketball player, football player, whatever in the world, and you have to work harder than everybody else. Like, this is what will allow you to tap into that extra bit of discipline and motivation when you don't feel like putting in the work that you need to do. And then, like, in the gym, same thing, all that sort of stuff. So use your dark side to your advantage. It's seriously pretty insane. Like, it really is a superpower. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like I said, if you're a motocross racer and you want to check out some of my digital products, like my fitness program, my online community, that stuff, it's linked in the description below. Check it out. With that said, if you want more videos like this, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.